Dan, would you say we left the church, or did we really leave the church and just join a new church called the Church of Inner Work? Because I feel like sometimes people are leaving one high control situation and going into another situation like spirituality, and it's becoming high control.
Interesting. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Dan.
And I'm Can.
And this is A Pebble, a weekly podcast that we're throwing a new wrinkle into now because...
Is this something that we have to do all the time?
You know what? We like trying new things.
You're putting me to work on the podcast a little more than I like, but I've been having to work harder.
So the talent doesn't want to be just a talent. It just still wants to be the talent.
I have so many other entrepreneur things going on, but yes, I will do it for you because I love you. And I do love the podcast, so.
Yes, ma'am.
I can put more work into it.
The first thing that popped in my mind with your premise is the Bible verse of a man cleaned out his house, swept it clean, and then left without setting up or locking the doors or whatever it was.
Or putting any thing in its place. Like he swept a room clean and then he didn't redecorate it into something new.
Yeah. And then the bad guys came in and found it not put in order and whatnot. So they came back and he gathered 7 more guys with him and they took over the house and caused catastrophe. Paraphrasing the Bible there, I'm apt to do.
as one does.
I'm in the ballpark.
Yeah.
So I thought of that because, yes, I think that is a very high potential of happening with people because you leave it and you're fledgling along. You're just, whoa, what's going on? So it's easy to find comfort back into something that has control over you again. So you could find yourself into another realm of, in this case, spirituality that could become high control.
Yeah, especially if now it's like, on the one hand, inner work is necessary.
Yes.
But inner work does not, my style of inner work does not have to be your style of inner work. Inner work can happen slowly just by experiencing life and then being introspective about something you've experienced, which we all kind of naturally do, I think, mostly, if you're self-aware at all, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say just knowing it can be really messy and there's no formula. But I think what is happening to some people is, you got to meditate every day. And you got to, if you do these things, then you're guaranteed this life, which is very similar to Christianity.
Yeah.
And I think there's no guarantees of what life is going to look like.
No.
So you just really need to, instead of waiting, we all want to feel happy, I think, for the most part, right? And fulfilled and all those things. Yeah. Instead of waiting for your outward situation to become that, just be that right now. Find ways to find fulfillment in today. And that if you just find something even around you that brings you joy.
That is what high controlled religions do, is that they provide cheap calories, for lack of a better description, to that need because they know people are searching for this. They want solutions and they'll give them.
They give them certainty, which is not really certainty,
but it's not tangible certainty.
No, and it's not certain.
Promised future rewards.
It's a promise, yeah.
So you'll never experience the rewards in this life. But it's there in the future, which is like the great con of all cons, to say, follow me in what I'm saying, give yourself over to me, let me control you, let me control your lifestyle, your finances, how you act and behave, how you promote yourself. You're going to be a little minion for me to bring more people into me, and you'll get these rewards later. Trust me. when you pass on, then you'll reap your rewards.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing that con man that's running the thing has to provide to this person to give them something tangible to bite into.
Mm-hmm.
They'll give them hopes of it, little tiny things that seem like they might be tangible, and explain it away as being tangible, as proof of what's to come.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's it's basically just a great con on what's being done to
Christianity does.
Because it's filling a void in people.
But it's also, it creates such a sense of certainty. It's not certainty, but it's a sense of certainty, right? Like if I train my children, which I don't even like to use the word for train children, but it's a proverb, like train your children a certain way, you're going to get this type of outcome, right? They're going to turn out believing what you've trained them to believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have this sense of certainty. And then when you leave Christianity and you leave that high control, if you're in a cult, which I really do feel like we were in a cult. I really do. Like fundamentalist Christianity is very culty.
Mm-hmm.
But you leave it. And before I was certain that homeschooling was the best thing for our children. But then all of a sudden I'm like, is it? I don't know. Now I have to think.
Yeah.
You know? So now the certainty is gone, which brings with it uncomfortable feelings. It is uncomfortable to not be certain, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know, and you need a little bit of a sense of certainty, like you need to kind of feel fairly certain that you're going to, when you start the day, that you'll come home at night, right? You start the day kind of with a sense of certainty, but nothing's ever certain.
No.
Right? There is no...
Trust me, I know. The way work's been going lately, I haven't been certain in anything.
But so you have to be like flexible and able to flow with that. But with Christianity, you don't know how to flow with the messiness of life very well.
No.
Because you're trying to... It makes you miserable because you're holding to this image, right? Mm-hmm. That you can have. But really what I wanted to talk about is you leave it and you're still programmed to want certainty. It still comforts us, right? You want that comfort because you feel so uncomfortable. You're outside of your comfort zone just being outside of Christianity.
Yeah, but it's a false security.
No, but you're going to start looking for security, I'm saying, in other places. And in the spiritual arena, which I find a lot of good things there still can be, or even non-spiritual. If you get in the political arena and then you get into this extreme left and cancel culture, you go to cancel culture. Cancel culture is huge on the other side of the political, but it's also it's on the right side and the left side, right?
Yeah.
You almost go towards the middle politically where you want to listen to both and hear what's, because they're all freaking lying sometime at some point. But then you can make a wiser decision. But it's so easy to slip into a new type of like high control program.
Yeah.
Like if you're deconstructed, it can almost be assumed that you're not MAGA.
Yeah.
But I have heard people say in comments, like, because I asked that question and I don't know the answer to it, but I don't think that you would be MAGA, but
you're basing that off of your perspective of
MAGA.
Of MAGA and of deconstruction and what you've experienced in deconstruction. Yeah. So the people that you've experienced and all this don't seem to be leaning towards the right. They tend to be more left of center.
Because they seem to be coming from the right. That's probably why.
Yeah.
Most of the people I know that have deconstructed were right-leaning politically.
In that example, too, is that a lot of times people leave from the right and then all of a sudden they're bombarded with, you have to come over here to this extreme left standpoint.
Yeah. And you have to agree with us on all of this, and you might not.
Yeah. And you might, but you're just leaving one extreme to go to the other extreme.
Yeah. And then... I've even thought about this, which we have done, or I did. Like, I used to vote straight down the line right, conservative, right? And then this last time, I was so against conservatives that I went straight down the line left.
Yeah.
But that's lazy. That's really lazy. That's lazy voting. Like, now it's time to like engage, get to know who these people, demand that these people tell us who they are. You know, like we need to know their character, not just what their policies are.
Yeah.
What is your character? Do you keep your word? Are you a reliable person? Do you have the education that you need to be in this position? That kind of stuff. But instead it's, just trying to dig up some dirt on them that people do. And then it just becomes an attack campaigns.
Yeah.
Which if you're suggestible, which I have found that clients that have come out of high control are almost always somnambulist. And a somnambulist is someone who is easy to hypnotize.
Yeah.
Very easy. And not only that, because you can be easy to hypnotize, but not in hypnosis all the time. But I get a lot of people that are in hypnosis all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know that they're in hypnosis. That means that they are suggestible to people all the time. And you'll know people like this. We know people like this, that you'll be talking to them, they'll agree with you, then they'll turn around and they'll go talk to somebody else who has the opposing view, and they will agree with them.
Yeah.
It's because they're so suggestible to
we
whatever.
know many people like that.
Yeah. And that creates confusion. Those people are usually very confused.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's when they come out of high control religion because they don't know how to think. They know they were taught what to think and not how to think.
Yeah.
So I guess the point I want to make with this is just be aware of like falling into like, if you feel like you're bad, if you don't meditate every day, or you're trying to create, you're reading a self-help book and you're struggling to follow it, or you're not doing more relatable today is you're not doing all the things that people are telling you to do to resist 47,
mm-hmm.
and his agenda. Come on. Like, you're just getting trapped back in another high control situation. You need to think. You need to think about your unique needs, not worry about everybody else. But do care for other people, which you naturally, I don't even have to tell you to do that. People will do that,
Mm-hmm.
But what you need to learn how to do is think about your own self. What is it that you bring to the table during this resistance that can help the world? Doing everything is not the solution. You don't have to do all the things they're being asked of you, all the marches and all the boycotting. You do what's right for you, and don't judge others. And just hope that they're doing their part and you do your part, and we'll do it joyfully, and we'll be in a happy space if we're staying in our wheelhouse rather than trying to be something we're not, right?
Yeah.
Doing things because we feel we have to, or we're wrong and sinning. So that's something, just know that the tendency to jump from one high control to another high control is high. Until you do some reprogramming. And the reprogramming is just that inner work that's messy, and you can intentionally do it or you can unintentionally do it just by reflecting. But I mean, there is some sense of intentionality in both of those, or all of the ways you would do it, but you can do it slowly. It's messy. It's, you're never gonna be able to really be like, oh, I thought I don't struggle with that anymore. And then you'll see it pop up and you'll go, oh, I guess I still have some of that kind of programming in there.
Yeah.
But you're going to be less judgmental about it.
Yeah. And I think that's the key to defending against it too, is being able to capture it, to see when it's popping up in you, to see that, okay, that's old programming. I need to work on that. I recognize it. I need to take care of it and, work through this to understand that I'm falling back into old tendencies, even though it might be.
Yeah, it might take you a while to notice that you have a pattern. Like maybe you have a pattern of doing that. Then you can start asking questions like, I noticed I did that yesterday and the day before too. What was causing me to do it? Is it the same type of interaction? Is it the same person? You know what I'm saying? Then you can start to look at triggers and kind of dissect them so that you desensitize yourself to them, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think it's very easy to fall from one system into another. and get yourself caught in a cycle of doing that all the time. It happened. I mean, we know people that it's happened to where they left religion, but they got involved in something else that just
was still high control.
Yeah, controls them at all times. Whether it be another system or even a narcissistic relationship that you got involved into. So it's easy to happen because honestly, there's comfort in it. Yeah. There's familiarity.
It's that familiarity. Your subconscious knows it. It can identify what it's trying to predict. It likes to be able to predict because it feels safe. Yeah. And when you're doing something new or different, it's uncomfortable, especially at first, until you do different things enough where you realize, I'm just in the beginner phase and this is always uncomfortable. Yeah. This is just the way it is. I'll get it down if I keep going. But if you think like that, yes, you'll get there. But at first, it's just really uncomfortable. Yeah. To be uncomfortable.
And it's easy.
And it's easy to jump to. Yeah.
Yeah. It's easier to do because it's a lot less work because you're already programmed for it.
Just tell me what to think.
Yeah.
I mean, that's we were wired to be. It's almost not by the divine, but we were programmed that way.
It's almost like the people that are in the high controlled religions that are susceptible. It would almost be ideal if someone came by that had a lot of charisma and a lot of something behind themselves and started speaking and was able to build up and elicit emotions and fears and just keep this just onslaught of building this up and building all this momentum behind themselves.
Of who the enemies are.
Yeah.
And that you're the good guy, come to rescue.
And be able to promise all sorts of things that you'll never be able to keep.
Gee, I wonder if that's ever happened.
And then people would fall in line automatically because they've been trained.
You could do no wrong. They would come to your defense and make up all sorts of things for you.
Yeah.
To explain away what you're doing.
You would, since religion's already broken down the walls and taught you how to just be susceptible and believe in this stuff because it feels
even good. If it goes against your
aligns with
reasoning.
Some of your core tenets and beliefs, that then all of a sudden everything that came out of this individual's mouth would be gospel truth. And you would fight to the death for them and think that they could do no wrong. And even though their character would speak highly against anything that would resemble anything you would believe in or respect or find integral, you'd be able to look past it and just keep supporting no matter what.
Okay, now I'm going to be ridiculous and tell me who you are thinking of when you say all that.
Joe Biden.
Are you thinking of Felon 47?
What? Oh, yeah, I guess that would work too.
Because I was listening to you and I was like, okay, this obviously sounds like he's describing him, but it also sounds like you're describing the Old Testament God.
See, it is true. He is the second coming.
I mean, it's interesting because it's that God that they use to justify what is happening.
Yeah.
And following this person. But it was just, like he could do no wrong. I mean, even the terrible things that were said in the Old Testament, people will say, well, it's God. He just knows better than we do. And I remember thinking, I guess my idea of like good is not right then.
Well, it's to the point where it could actually do harm to the people that support him. And they're like, no, this is all for the good. I've heard people say, I'm glad my 401k shrunk because it's going to be the best. It's only going to get better from here. It's like, that's your retirement that just lost a lot of money.
Like it's okay to be mad about that and be like.
Yeah, it's all right to disagree and not
and be like, this was I don't think this was a smart decision.
Yeah.
But, obviously sometimes bad things turn out great. You can flip them around, but it's also okay to just be, it's not a sin to be angry at something, to be frustrated.
Yeah.
That's not a sin. It's, so allow yourself to feel what might feel like a sin. I'm not saying go hurt somebody. You know that.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, the things we were taught were so evil. Like saying a swear word was so bad. I'm like, if that God cannot stand certain syllables being said in certain order, like, he's petty. I don't want to live eternally with that person. They're just going to be so annoying. People that are petty are terrible. Nobody wants to be around somebody who's being petty at the time. And it's not a type of person. We all have been petty at one time or another, I'm sure. But yeah, it's just, I want you to know to not jump in from one, because you are susceptible to it. If you are new to deconstruction, you are susceptible to listening to like something we say and thinking, oh, it's truth. No, it's not. You're going to disagree with us, and that's okay.
Yeah, this is 100% opinion.
Yes. And it's always 100% opinion. Very rarely are we looking up facts.
Yeah.
Okay?
Trust us, we're lazy.
We're lazy
when it comes to this.
This is just us shooting the breeze, saying things that whatever we think at the time, but do your research and see what works for you. See if it fits for you.
Yep.
See if it resonates with you. If it doesn't mean you're right and we're wrong, or vice versa. There's many perspectives on things, right? So just don't jump from one thing to the next. Actually start to learn yourself. That's really what you're supposed to do. Just learn you. Who are you? Instead of jumping into another thing that's telling you how to be or what to do or who you are, figure it out yourself.
Yep.
By exploring the world.
Yep. Amen, sister. So explore the world by giving us 5 stars. We'd appreciate it on this rating. If you're watching on YouTube, smash that like, hit that subscribe. And remember, check out our website, dannycan.com. It's got everything on there that you need. All the podcast information, all of Can's podcast, Transform Life, her blogs, her hypnotherapy, her Substack, all the goodness of Candy wrapped into one website. So go there and check it out and get all your stuff on there. And as always, folks, remember, listen to us.
Because we have lots of opinions, and
opinions are like assholes. Yeah, everyone has one,
basically,
and they all
ours stink. Sometimes.
Bye. Bye.